Welcome to the Look Scene series. This series will have dead times, not so accurate post production, and a lot of backtracking. This series is meant to be a deep lore analysis and 100% completion of the game. Thanks for your attention. Lasciate ogni speranza voi che entrate. Hello guys, welcome back to Dante's Cell. I'm Dante or Jack and we are back because I finally have a bit of time in this week that no uploads were being done, in which I can actually record an entire day of Luxin Mortis Spathium. We left off from the previous episode right after dealing with the Leviathan. And we were still at the hydrophonics central hub. We have a new mission. Chapter 7 is Into the Void, and the mission is go to the mining deck. Cross says there's an SOS beacon on the mining deck. It's a chance for rescue, but even if we send out a distress signal, who'd be close enough to this system to hear it? Because we do know that Aegis 7 is indeed a off-limits section, let's say, that is instituted by Earth government. And this one is one of the new things. We actually met another one of these. And this is a master override chest. Usually in these there's pieces for upgrades and nothing else. Oh, I need to refill my inventory. If you see that my inventory is empty, it's because I was doing, to make the run more fun. As you can see, we are almost at 500,000 credits because I was dealing with, let's say, farming. Yes, farming is the right word. Of some cash using a very known strategy in the Dead Space remake, and that is the upgrade of the good old capacity on the pulse rifle. Basically, what you do is upgrade the capacity to one node at a time, and by putting mines down, you can actually be sure that the ammo, because you can turn the mines you leave on the floor back into ammunition, and if you do that, you actually have the chance to farm ammunition, because it's going to fill itself up every time you leave a new node. So you put a new node, you empty with the mines on the floor, and you pick those ammunition up after you completely, let's say, upgraded the capacity of the gun, and you're going to find yourself having a full stack of newly acquired ammunition for the pulse rifle that you can then sell to get more money than what you spent to actually upgrade and the upgrade, because you need to get all the nodes back. Mining is the second to last deck we need to explore. And as we know, seems like there's a lot of writings around here. Don't support the church. Innocent bloodshed. Here we have a conversation between survivors, probably. Sorry, I had a family emergency. When can we try again? I'll be here. How about week 214, 1040? I give great pang MW rounds. Minus 10 p.m. now. Anyone? Peng. Again, Peng is that recurring joke that is in the Dead Space franchise. And give them hope, give them strength. They'll last a bit longer. We are so effed. Sadly, the survivors clearly started to feel the effects of maybe the same thing that got to the miners on the colony on AG7. What are you willing to give up your life for? Or God bless our pawns. So what pawns can they be talking about? Now, a lot of the writing actually feels like gibberish. Because you can't, actually, no one really can understand which is normal survivors and which is, you know, unitology gibberish. Because God bless our pawns sounds a lot like unitologist gibberish, while maybe don't help the church, innocent bloodshed is more like a crew member absolutely knowing what the Church of Unitology is doing and telling you do not trust them, they are actual beasts. And in the remake, they actually connected the engineering deck and the mining deck. One side is one and the other is engineering. That is very good. But move on to mining operations. In this chapter, we will actually have only one missable log that is actually highly missable. Because as I told you in the episode, I think 10 or 11, basically when we got to the bridge.
The mining deck systems are running haywire. Great. Let me work on the elevators. Any idea where Temple's SOS beacon might be?
I'll check the mining control room. The launch tubes there could send out a beacon easy.
Anyone there?
Hammond? Where are you?
In the vents, hoping they don't hear me.
Yeah, those things are everywhere.
No, the unitologists. They're all here on the crew deck. They've lost it. One of them stabbed her friend in the head. He just stood there. He fucking smiled. They're going somewhere.
Hammond! Shit. Lost the signal again. We gotta find that beacon, Isaac. Fast.
Objective cleared. As I was saying, and when we went to the bridge and met Hammond, we actually had the chance to unlock a side mission, as I told you. But not unlocking that submission will now give us one of the missable logs available only if you do not interact with the control panel there on the captain's nest. So now we will get the actual log right around this corner. Shall we use this? Yes, we shall. Love it. Contact beam. Beast of a gun.
Whoa, there's something near you. A sealed room. Some kind of home-brewed security lockdown.
The miners locked up some nice gear. Too bad. I could have put it to work.
You still could, if we find the right rig codes.
The captain's rig won't get me in?
No, that lockdown's a custom job, but I can use the captain's codes to create an override framework. Didn't you find a senior officer's rig? A few more like that, and we're in business. Okay, framework's done. Find the rigs, download their codes into a bridge console, and it'll build you a master security override.
And now they unlocked for us the you are not authorized objectives. And it tells us the Ishimura's internal security is pretty effed up. If I can create a master security override, it'll give me access to sealed areas and whatever supplies are left. And basically what it entails is we need to find all the rigs of the chiefs of the various bridges. We actually picked up already 2 of them, one in hydroponics and the other one being on the outside where the asteroid, the ADS cannons were. And now we are missing actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of the 7 that there were. And actually some of them can be picked up already, but I suggest for all of you that will or want to go for 100%, wait until you have level 3 clearance. So I suppose after chapter 7, it should be in chapter 7 you get the level 3 clearance. And after you get that, actually move on to go and pick up all the rest of the rigs. So you can then get the master security override, and after you explore most of the bridges, so right about you are going to get to the shuttle part right before you get to AG7. Just wait for that and then move on to get the rest of all the crates and the secret stashes in the master override rooms. We also now have unlocked the other 2 side missions, being scientific methods, find Kyne's mining deck hideout, location, mining deck, that is now unlocked. Nicole wanted help from Dr. Kyne to find the connection between the outbreak and the marker. She thought Kyne was somewhere on the mining deck, with a lot of survivors, actually. And premeditated malpractice. Mercer's created some regenerating monster he calls his Hunter. I've got to know more about what I'm up against. And it asks us to investigate ore storage. In the ICU recording, Aris mentioned doing an errand for Mercer in ore storage. That must be on the mining deck. I should check it out. And the rest are just the names and where to find the rigs, so we will not read those. But the main objective updated. Activate the launch tubes. The SOS beacon cross mentioned is our last chance for rescue. I'll check the launch tubes in the mining control room. The Ishimura launches survey beacons from there all the time. I suppose it's the place where they send beacons to scan planets from. And we are going to use it to send out a emergency beacon that we don't know if it will actually find someone to contact. Because, as I said, AG7 is a restricted space area, and Ishimura was doing an illegal mining job. And that could mean that we are not exactly supposed to be here. And if anyone actually hears it, they shouldn't be here as well. We're good on ammunition and stuff like that. So we will pass on that. Let's pick up some of the stuff around here. But after saving, because, you know, the usual, I'm too scared to leave everything alone. This space is one of the longer chapters.
This is weird. 2 of the mining subducts are locked down, even though all systems are running. I'm gonna figure this out.
One of the longest chapters because the mining deck is actually divided, not in in 4, but one is this, level. So there's almost nothing here apart from the tram station. But in 3 levels that you have to basically explore all 3 of them. So it will keep and take some time. And as I told you in the last episode, we went through the introduction part of Dead Space. So basically now most of the reading will be dialed down unless we meet exceptional things. But it's going to be a lot more, let's say, theorizing and talking about connection between things more than I'm going through reading straight from sites and books and stuff like that. It's going to be, okay, now that we know this as well, this and this makes sense. Oh, of course, I'm going to do callbacks to things from the original series and stuff like that. And maybe I'll help you with some little call-outs even during the editing sesh that awaits me after recording, hopefully, Chapter 7 and 8. So we then can move on to 9, 10, 11, and 12. Because Chapter 8, if I remember, is the shortest thing around. And in the original, talking about call-outs to the original, Here, while you go down with the elevators, you can actually see the hunter in the fog while going down on this exact elevator. You can see it in the fog from one of the rooms of the decks. And you can hear it. Even sharpening its claws. Or blades. Or what you want to call them. Reaper is what we are going for. Because we are actually also working on trophies. And I'm missing the one for the Reaper. So let's cut off some limbs using the actually almost 100% powered up Reaper. That, as you can see, while I told you originally that it could keep a blade up for 7 seconds, now it just keeps it up for too long for necromorphs to handle. I told you this gun is a beast when you start to upgrade it. And we're actually in a pretty good spot thanks to the farming I did of all the little nodes to power up all the guns and the suit. So on that aspect as well, we're doing pretty good. And here, a big red writing on the wall. Straight right in our face. Okay, relax. Flares. But let's concentrate here. Beware, traps ahead. This was not in the original. No traps or stuff like that. Humans stay out wasn't a thing. And under here, there's actually no vision writing that says I should have a note with the writing that tells us it says, if you damn zombies, if you learned to read, go to hell. It actually says that. I translated it roughly because I don't speak Norwegian and Google Translate is faulty. Sadly, it's not exactly the best at translating precisely, especially stuff from screens and things like that. But it is clear there are... What did I pick up? Oh, a bar. These lasers, I never got hit by one of these, but I'm scared beyond belief that if I actually get touched by one of these, they will cook me out of existence. They will one-shot me in impossible mode. I am scared like never in my life, and I didn't know you could turn them off. Usually I block them with the box, but you can actually turn them off. Oh, that's good. Here, we have a bit of a story told to us. You can see one of the necromorphs that looks at you from the crack of the door. That is so good. These are some of those scripted moments that are not based on the randomness of the intensity director, and they are just so good. And at least they told them rigged door do not use. Of course, the necromorphs apparently, in contrast to the writing at the entrance, no, they did not learn how to read. So no, they cannot go to hell. And I'm asking myself, does this work with the box? Or does this happen only if I use bodies to turn them off? Because this is great. I never knew this. And if you want to try, go ahead and use this. Because now, in case of emergency, you actually have a clear path if you have to run from something. And it is especially useful in impossible mode. Now, ore storage is where the side mission for the Anther and Mercer tells us to go. And a little side note, in my New Game Plus run at hard difficulty, I forgot to do the first half of the side mission. And if you do not do the first half, you will actually be locked out of the room. So Ladies and gentlemen, do your side missions in order, or you will not get the path unlocked for you. And the intensity director decided to turn off the lights on me. Thank you. No, really. A rabbi semiconductor. Money is always appreciated because we are probably going to pick up I think a new armor rig level as well. I think it should be the miner rig. Of course, we are on the mining deck, so what did you expect? But now let's go ahead and listen to a security call.
Security request retrieved.
Security, we got some freak called Harris stealing from ore storage. Dr. Mercer sent me for osmium to complete his work. Yeah, I don't care if God Almighty sent. You skim from CEC's profit margin, we get screwed. God? So you can put that osmium down, or I can break your arms first. I worked with people like you on Aegis 7. They'd steal my power nodes. Leave me to dig with no light. Hey, hey! Get off me! But when they abandon you in the dark, it's not empty. The marker whispered its revelations there. Now I understand them. Do you want to hear?
Warning. Untrained personnel may not use suit kiosk.
No, no! Stop! Please! I said please when they shut me in. Screamed it too. I promise I won't laugh like they did.
Warning. Suit kiosk is obstructed. Serious injury may occur.
Oh God! Help me!
Incident report filed to Bridge by Dr. Nicole Brennan. See related rig activity.
Investigate ore storage. Complete. Find report on bridge. And we shall do that after we complete chapter 7. And this is the suit kiosk the voice log was talking about. We can clearly see what happened. The pure miner, I suppose, actually got shredded from the suit kiosk not walking because it was obstructed and it wasn't supposed to go in, probably. And Harris actually told us... What? Ah, yes. That flatline sound, typical of rigs, that we actually heard not so much in the remake, while in the original you hear it a lot of times. I was saying Harris, clearly influenced by the marker, as some precedents of, sadly, being mistreated and we could say bullied by probably other miners and stuff like that on the Aegis 7 colony, because he tells us that he will not laugh like the others did, that he got shut in the darkness, and that they stole things from him like the power nodes that at this point were the payment for the miners, I suppose. So that's a very important thing to know, because Harris clearly has precedents of depression, one can say. And this is a specific thing, and that is, in the darkness, the marker whispered its secrets. What that means is that probably, since the marker was found in the planet, while he was in the tunnels digging, he could already hear the marker and was probably one of the first to be influenced by the marker, because of the fact that he was left alone in the dark so many times without anything to do but dig. So the marker, being him and the rock into the planet with and by himself, influenced him to the point where then he did what he did, that being killing a nurse and then getting shipped here to the Ishimura, where Mercer is, it seems, trying to work on something and turn him into what we know is the Hunter. But let's see here. Mining deck log. G. Kreutz or Kreutz. N301 secured the subdeck perimeter. EEDs, plasma cutters, tripwires, survey charges. 3 injured and Lingen is out of action and medications run out. Rest of the supplies are holding so far. Ammo, food, water and thruster fuel. Even without the stuff for the SOS beacon. N302, wired external accesses. All the mining bays are online now. Lingen unconscious. Nothing we can do. N303, they broke through the floor vent. One of those flying infectors went right for Lingen's body, and then we were fighting 6 instead of 5. Cut them up and then shipped it all down to the smelters for a quick cremation. Can't take any risk. This log tells us that they actually not only met a infector and saw it in action, so it went straight for the body. As I said, infectors do not try to fight. They usually go to the body to make slashes and other necromorphs that are built to fight. And they cut them up and shipped them to the smelters for cremation, because as I told you, one of the reasons that Johnston, the pilot that was injured and exploded with the Kellion, wasn't turned, even if she wasn't there, left in space, is because she was charred. And if a corpse is charred, necromorphic tissue cannot start the cellular regeneration and transformation, leaving the bodies as bodies. They cannot build necromorphs from charred cellular tissue. Entry 04. Survey charge went off too soon. Lost Siegel, Fike and Zittel. Never seen the inside of a head before. Took them to the smelter to be cremated. Then supply inventory. Can't sleep. Entry 05. Too dangerous here. Took some gear to haul up somewhere safer. McSweeney followed me, yelling about being selfish. Me? He was the one leading those things right to me. Update. Fixed McSweeney. Visited smelter. Can't sleep. Clearly he killed the poor guy and cremated him. Entry 06. Can't sleep. Cold. Can hear the others yelling. They're going to get me killed. Update. Lingen's right. I need peace and quiet, and the smelters need fuel. Clearly he started going mad. Probably same form of dementia as the colonist on Aegis 7. And he found himself seeing the ghosts of the other survivors that died while he was here, that were with him. And one of them, the first that died, Lingen, that was without medications, told him that he needed peace and quiet, and most probably that he needed to go through the smelters. To what? He says that they need fuel. So most probably he threw himself into the smelters because he couldn't handle, or he was so influenced that we know from one of the reports that the colonists presented a lot of, oh god, problem. Okay, we're good. The swarmers are big problem if you don't deal with them accordingly. I thought I had my flamethrower equipped. I was wrong. Pulse rifle, we don't need you. We need the flamethrower in case of swarmers. We could use the, mine of the pulse rifle, but flamethrower is something else we need for the platinum, so we shall work with that as well. In the room, this is the control room of the mining deck. A couple credits around to pick up, loads actually, and that is a, let's say, ball of minerals that they actually pick up from the chunks they turn off planets. But the text log will tell us more. Mining deck log, Dallas. We actually heard him. Planet crack of Aegis 7 was conducted today. Everything went smoothly from our hand. There seem to have been problems planetside, and we've temporarily lost contact with the colony. But tethers are stable, with torque well within acceptable parameters. First rock ball, 010032, was extracted from the tectonic load, location EQL5, approximately 1 hour after planet crack. It has been processed, refined, and smelted for sampling. Results exceeded even optimistic initial estimates. Normal recovery is around 35% mineral, 5% fossil, and 60% waste. But the material from the first ball was 65% mineral and 0% fossil, in line with expectations. That's 6.5 tons of ore from a 10-ton ball. That is almost all of the ball as mineral. 6.5. You are just missing 2.5 tons of the ball, basically. Full production is now in progress, focusing on EQL5, assuming it's not an anomaly with a mother load. So AG7, even if apparently it's so rich in minerals, was sadly closed by Earth government to public and the mining companies. But why is that? We don't know.
Launch tubes sealed. Please contact Supervisor Dallas for authorization.
Well, damn.
Finally getting somewhere with the mining duct systems. Got the SOS beacon?
No, and the launch tubes are sealed. I need a deck administrator's rig to get them open.
The deck admin is Supervisor Dallas. He's on the processing subdeck. I've got rig activity for a Jacob Temple 2 maintenance subdeck. Maybe he left the SOS beacon there. Just hope you can reach it through these malfunctions.
Not malfunctions. Traps. The miner's way of holding the line.
Shit. Okay, I'll unlock the subdecks. Just make sure that beacon's not wired to anything.
Of course, the joke is because the miners made all those traps, make sure that the beacon is not rigged, is basically, Isaac, don't blow up. You're actually the only one doing something, because Kendra is too busy locked up in the main computer frame, minding her own stuff. And Hammond, we just heard from him since chapter 3. That is a long time to hear from someone. We know he went to the crew deck, and we hear him from chapter 3 all the way. We have to wait to chapter 7 to hear from Hammond again. That is a lot of time. New mission. Find the admin rig. The launch tubes they use for survey probes are my best bet to send out the SOS beacon. But they're locked. I need the administrator's rig from the processing subdeck to get them open. And find the SOS beacon. We figured out that the SOS beacon is probably on the maintenance subdeck. I just hope Temple finished building it. Temple! As we know, Chief Engineer, please don't. Relax. That's how. Whoa! Hello there. My little friendly leaper. And as you can see, they did a beautiful work with the, let's say, decomposing and destructuring of necromorphs. Because in the original, it was gruesome. You could cut off limbs and you saw little tentacles and blood everywhere. And Isaac got covered so fast and so much that he was red most of them. That brownish color the original armor had. More of the times it was of the right tint. But now it's just absolutely, it's like a slasher movie. You basically can shred through necromorphs all the way to the bone, and they will still keep coming at you like you did nothing. Especially if you use the flamethrower without upgrading it at higher difficulties. In hard, I remember having this necromorph absolutely going ham on me because I did not do the right thing. And he went to me, started running while I was flaming on him. I was actually with a steady rush of fire cooking him, and the only thing he did was flinch for a second and then start running at my face twice. That is the best result I got, trying to cook one of these necromorphs to a crisp. Not ideal. Let's save again, because I don't remember where save stations actually are in the various chapters. And yes, 9 hours is because a lot of that time is actually farming for money and nodes to upgrade all the weapons. That's it. That's the whole lot of time that's spent on that is all because I spent an entire day almost before this week that I was actually pretty busy, and this is the only free day I got. I spent it farming for these nodes to upgrade the weapons, and every time we get a new upgrade part that allows us to make weapons stronger, I will try to find the time to farm some more nodes just so we can pick it up and move a little bit faster with, you know, the scary fact of dying in impossible mode, and that is a big no-no. Because I need to finish this run in impossible, so that then I can move on to do a new game plus and get this secret ending that I saw here talking about, but never actually saw or know anything about. I mean, during my medium run, I'm guessing you'd have to pick up those marker fingers.
I couldn't reach you. If you find this, I'm off deck, but I'll be right back. I got a call from another survivor. It sounded terrifying. I'm gonna lock up the SOS beacon and go and get him. Best launch window's not for a while. Anyway, and he sounds like he's worth the risk. He's a doctor. Mercer, I think. About time we caught a fucking break. I love you. Please, be careful.
So, that was Temple, Chief Engineer, or at least acting Chief Engineer, because we don't know what happened to the actual Chief Engineer. And the Leeds Cross boyfriend. And in the original, I talked about this when we met Cross, they didn't have an active role. I mean, you found the same logs you found around here, so Temple trying to fix stuff, and Cross having problems in hydroponics. But you never actually meet them like we meet, let's say, Cross here, and we never actually saw Jacob in this way. In the original, the only time you actually see Jacob and, well, you see more Jacob than Cross is in chapter 9 or 10 when you get to finally reach the crew deck. And processing has been lost, meaning that we probably will find ourselves in a lot of trouble with a lot of necromorphs. Just guessing. The sounds should tell us what is expecting us. And my favorite thing to do here is not go to that side, get to this side, pick up this, get it ready, and then just right to the pregnant so that it explodes, and then cook the swarmers with our flamethrower so as to avoid any kind of problem with all the others necromorph that will actually start to come at you from that side. If you keep your back to this closed off section, you shouldn't have any problem in dealing with the necromorphs, because they cannot spawn from behind you. No vents on the ceiling, because no ceiling almost, and you just shoot in front of you trying not to die. Of course, these are not the only ones. I refuse to believe. In fact, I was right. Reaper. And we prepare some sashimi of Leaper. Here's another one. Or did I just imagine one? Nope. Spita. The famous female only variant that spits acid. And I hear a Leaper. Okay. Thanks to kindly run at me. In the original, I remember there was an entire section in this space where you just get absolutely swarmed swarmed is the right term. You can't take a breather. But the worst part, where I'm actually scared to get to, is chapter 9. That is what scares me. Because in chapter 9, there's a room, well, 2 actually, that in the original was a thing. And in the remake, I got so flipping scared. Because they threw me a curved ball. I thought I'd failed something. And then they go like, oh no, actually, you know what? We just changed it. And here, there's actually a closed door. And no matter what you do, you cannot open it. And the trick is that around here, there's a open space with broken windows. Pick up a gun that shoots far, like pulse rifle or the line gun. Shoot the fuse. And now you get yourself an open door ready for you to enter. But first, security call.
Security request retrieved.
Dallas here. Security to the mining deck now. Dr. Kyne's lost it. Get back! I know how to use it. He'll live for the rest of his life if you don't give me codes to the cargo bay. Just processing. Why the hell would we have codes for cargo? I must get to the marker. We're running out of time. Give me those codes. Christ, is this what you did to the captain? No, Ben was an accident. Don't you dare compare me to someone like Mercer. I'm trying to save you. The marker's our only hope. No, let him go. He's on. Where the fuck is security?
Now. While I cleaned up the room, what we just heard, and that this will be the ending for the episode, is Dr. Kyne absolutely losing it. This is something that happened after the death of Captain Matthews that we saw happen with a video log. And here is threatening probably one of the miners while the other miner is trying to tell him that this is processing. And why would we have the codes for cargo? Because it looks like the captain, that we didn't have a confirmation of this until now, actually got the marker on the Ishimura and stored it in cargo. And for some reason, as Mercer said, Kyne is starting to talk about Amelia, like she's alive, and talking to him and telling him that he needs to go to the marker to reach and fix the situation on the ship. Of course, Kyne also does this strange comparison with Mercer, saying that he did not kill the captain on purpose, and it actually looked like an incident here in the remake, while in the original it looked like Kyne just stabbed Matthews in the eye with a needle. But here it looks, and again, there's a lot of importance to this stabbing in the face by slash head. And we will talk about it at another moment. And this comparison with Mercer is because clearly Mercer had already started doing some, let's say, not so acceptable research, and Kyne found out. For now, that's it. So, Algads, thank you oh so very much for watching. And as I always say, I'll see you all again quando torneremo a guardare le stelle. See you next episode.